rushing anybody. Okay, go ahead. I'll wait till you switch. We good? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The convention will now come to order. As a reminder, I would like to ask everyone, please turn off your cellular phones and portable device or put them in vibrate. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. Okay. And I will now ask Chaplain Dover to lead us in prayer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's pray. Heavenly Creator, we seek your blessings on the task before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. Amen.
Good job, Michael. In order for a delegate to be heard at this convention, you must first be recognized by the chair. Only those delegates at the microphone will be recognized. They must state their name, chapter number, and the state they represent. Comrades, the convention rules are a continuing part of our bylaws. They are part and parcel of Article 3 and remain in effect continually. They are subject to amendments as provided by the bylaws and do not require readoption. At this time, I would like to call on the Credentials Committee for its report. Chairman Warren Tobin.
Comrade Commander, delegates, the National Convention Committee on Credentials was called to order for its first business session on July 31st, 2016 by committee advisors Michael E. Dobmeyer and Doug Wells. The first order of business was the election of a convention committee chairman and secretary. Warren Tobin of North Dakota was elected as chairman, and Bridget Marker of Oregon was elected as secretary. The Credentials Committee met this morning at its second meeting in the Dunwoody Room at the Hyatt Atlanta. Roll call showed 1,082 delegates and 71 alternates have registered, which includes 37 departments and 394 chapters registered. There are 7 national officers, 13 past national commanders currently registered with a total of 7,888 votes. This partial report is for informational purposes only and reflects the registration at the close of business at 7 a.m. as of August 1st, 2016. This completes the partial report, Commander.
Thank you, Warren. At this time, I would like to introduce and recognize my National Chief of Staff, Thomas Walls, Officer of the Day, Chad Richmond, and Sergeant at Arms, John King. I want to thank you. You guys have definitely made my job easier this year. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now it is an honor and a pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of DAV's National Service and Legislative Headquarters in Washington, and my friend Gary Augustine, a Cleveland native. He enlisted in the U.S. Army after graduating from high school in August 1969 as a member of the 198th Infantry Brigade in South Vietnam. He was severely wounded by a landmine explosion during a combat patrol operation in Butang Peninsula on April 9, 1970. He was medically discharged from the Army in December 1972. Gary went on to earn a bachelor's degree with honors from Ohio University in 1978, and then a master's degree in sociology from Cleveland State University in 1983. The same year, he became a DAV Life member of Chapter 42 in Mentor, Ohio. Gary's DAV career began in 1988 as a hospital service coordinator for the Department of Ohio. In October of that year, he was hired as a National Service Officer trainee in Cleveland. In 1997, he was promoted to Assistant Supervisor of the Cleveland DAV National Service Office. And then in 2000, he was promoted to Supervisor of that same office. In 2002, Gary was appointed Assistant National Service Director at DAV Washington headquarters. He was then appointed Deputy National Service Director in 2004 before being National Service Director in 2010. In 2013, Gary was appointed Executive Director of DAV Washington headquarters, where he is responsible for the national service and legislative programs. He is DAV's principal spokesman before Congress, the White House, and the Department of Veteran Affairs. In this role, he continues to lead our advocacy efforts in Washington, as others have before him. Thanks to his leadership, DAV has stayed in the forefront of the fight for veterans' rights on Capitol Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me with a warm welcome for our Executive Director of DAV's National Legislative Headquarters in Washington, D.C., Gary Augustine.
Good morning, DAV. National Commander McIntosh, National Adjutant Burgess, distinguished guests and delegates to the DAV's 95th National Convention. It is an honor to present my third annual report as Executive Director of the National Service and Legislative Headquarters in Washington, D.C. Let me begin by thanking Commander Moses McIntosh and Adjutant Mark Burgess for your steadfast leadership and unwavering support of all that we have accomplished this past year. Thanks also go to Auxiliary National Adjutant Pat Kemper for all that you and your team do to support us. And I want to offer my condolences to the family of Auxiliary National Commander Linda Stake, who sadly passed away last week after spending her final year working to improve the lives of the men and women who served. She has left a legacy of service that I know the Auxiliary will carry forward. Let me also acknowledge the efforts of our hardworking staffs in Washington, D.C. and Cold Spring, Kentucky. Because of your professionalism and dedication, I am proud to say that DAV continues to be the finest veterans service organization in the world. Most importantly, let me say that everything we achieve is built on the strength of our members and auxiliary. Thank you for all the work you do, the hours you volunteer, and the dedication you show year in and year out. Whether through chapter and department activities or by answering our calls to contact Congress and advocate for Americans' heroes. You are the backbone and muscle that allows us to succeed. We know that when there is important work to be done, we can count on you every time. You truly epitomize a saying used by legendary Green Bay Packers coach Vince Lombardi, who said, "The only place success comes before work is in the dictionary." Well, today I'm here to report on some of our recent success and to talk about the hard work ahead. As all of you are aware, the past year was another difficult one for America's veterans and the Department of Veterans Affairs. Since the access crisis and the waiting list scandals in Phoenix erupted in the news in the spring of 2014, the VA has struggled to regain its footing. A series of revelations about hidden wait lists resulted in leadership changes across the VA. Exactly 2 years ago, the Honorable Bob McDonald, who we heard from yesterday, began his tenure as the 8th Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Since then, we have seen a number of important changes begun throughout VA. Together with Deputy Secretary Sloan Gibson, Undersecretary for Health Dr. David Shulkin, and Acting Undersecretary for Benefits Tom Murphy, VA's new leadership is beginning to turn the page on some long-standing problems. Although there have been improvements over the past 2 years, we will not rest until all veterans receive the benefits they have earned through their service, and at DAV, we greatly value service. Thank you. I'm proud to report to you once again that DAV's National Service Program remains the best in the business. We not only operate the largest service program helping veterans receive their earned benefits, but by any objective measure, we are also the most effective. In over 100 offices across the country, we employ over 270 National Service Officers and 32 Transition Service Officers, providing representation for over 300,000 claims last year. Our Transition Service Program and mobile service offices further extend DAV's services to veterans as they return home. In 2015, our TSOs conducted more than 1,000 formal presentations to over 33,000 transitioning service members, and our MSOs traveled over 100,000 miles to nearly 900 cities and towns, including more than 100 colleges and universities. We also represented over 15,000 appeals before the Board of Veterans' Appeals, nearly 30% of all cases, and we have a pro bono program matching veterans with private law firms if their appeal is heard by the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. To put it simply, when it comes to helping veterans get their benefits, no one does it more than the DAV. Thank you. But we never rest on our laurels. Thanks to a grant from the National Service Foundation, we upgraded our equipment to allow local scanning and rolled out our new iTrack online training system to our entire NSO Corps. Let me just take a moment to acknowledge all of the work done to bring iTrack to life by our good friend, former Assistant National Service Director John Mackey, who sadly passed away earlier this year. John worked for DAV for nearly 30 years serving veterans, and I worked with him for 20 of those years. His spirit and his legacy continue on in the people and programs he touched. I'm reminded of another quote from Coach Lombardi that applies perfectly to John, just as it does to many DAV members. Individual commitment to a group effort, that is what makes a team work, a society work, a civilization work. That's the Team DAV approach. Everyone working to fulfill our promise to the men and women who served. That's why we have DAV's Disaster Relief Program, to support injured and ill veterans, their family members and survivors when they have nowhere else to turn. In 2015, we provided over $330,000 to assist almost 400 veteran families hurt by tornadoes, flooding, and other disasters in more than a dozen states around the country. By the way, those are your National Service Officers who selflessly work overtime and on weekends, rushing into disaster zones to ensure that veterans get the help they need when and where they need it. Another good example of the Team DAV approach is the collaboration between service and legislative staffs working to reform the appeals process. Although the claims backlog has dropped from over 600,000 claims to less than 100,000, the number of appeals awaiting decisions has risen dramatically to almost 450,000. To address this rising backlog, a couple of years ago, DAV brought together a work group involving veterans service organizations, the Veterans Benefit Administration, and Board of Veterans Appeals, which ultimately resulted in development of the Fully Developed Appeals, or FDA, proposal. I'm very pleased to report that earlier this year, the House approved the FDA, as did the Senate VA Committee recently. And we are now closer than ever to finally passing FDA legislation. Furthermore, that success has now paved the way for consideration of even more comprehensive appeals reform legislation. Building on the FDA, the VA invited DAV and other stakeholders to be part of a new work group to redesign the entire appeals system. Following months of meetings and negotiations, we were able to reach consensus on a new framework for appeals, one that would provide veterans multiple paths to appeal their claims while reducing the time to get a decision. We believe that this new system could help veterans get favorable appeal outcomes more quickly while protecting all of their due process rights. And enactment of this legislation, or at least the FDA legislation, is a very high priority for the remainder of this year. We've also made progress on a number of other DAV legislative priorities. As so many of us know firsthand, the truly unsung heroes for many veterans are their family caregivers. Whether it's a spouse, parent, sibling, child, or other relative, there are hundreds of thousands of loving family members caring for veterans who rely on their support. I know that many of you here today are or have been caregivers. I want to personally thank you for your service and let you know that we will never forget or stop fighting for you as well. DAV has worked long and hard to help pass the Comprehensive Caregiver Support Program. However, due to budgetary constraints, Congress limited this program to caregivers of veterans injured on or after September 11, 2001. And while we are grateful that the program has helped thousands of families, all caregivers deserve the same comprehensive support regardless of when their loved ones served. I'm pleased to report that the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee recently passed S. 2921, the Veterans First Act, which would phase in full caregiver assistance benefits for veterans of all eras. Although there is a cost to expand this program, there are tremendous savings to the government when veterans remain in their homes. But regardless of the costs, we will continue working to enact legislation that extends full support to caregivers of all severely ill and injured veterans, no matter when they served, because it is the right thing to do. Another group of heroes that are not always recognized are women veterans. Today, more women than ever are serving in the military in all occupational specialties as well as in combat. In 2014, DAV produced a landmark report on women veterans and the challenges they face when transitioning back to civilian life, offering dozens of recommendations, some of which have already been adopted into law. I'm pleased to report that in June, Congress passed and the President signed another one, the Female Veterans Suicide Prevention Act, which recognizes that certain suicide prevention programs are more effective for women veterans and directs VA to strengthen them. There are still a dozen other bills pending in Congress, including legislation to expand access to child care, improve maternity and newborn coverage, reduce homelessness, and eliminate health care disparities for women veterans. You can be sure we will continue working to pass these bills and will not rest until all women who wear the uniform are recognized for their service and supported in the same manner as all veterans. But the most critical veterans issue being debated in Congress today involves nothing less than the future of the VA healthcare system. For the first time in a generation, there are now open calls by some for shrinking or even dismantling the VA healthcare system entirely, something almost unthinkable just a few years ago. Now, we all acknowledge that VA has problems, some quite serious. In response to access and waiting list problems, in 2014, Congress approved emergency legislation to create the CHOICE program. However, from the beginning, the CHOICE program has been plagued by problems with care coordination, appointment scheduling, and provider payments. With the CHOICE program set to expire next year, VA, Congress, and VSOs are engaged in a debate about what comes next. We have been regularly meeting with the key leaders in VA and Congress so that the VA healthcare system that so many of our members rely on will be strengthened, reformed, and sustained. And because we also were not satisfied with the status quo, DAV worked with our independent budget partners, the VFW and PVA, to develop a framework for veterans' health care reform based on a couple of simple principles. First, our nation has a sacred obligation to make whole the men and women injured or made ill as a result of their military service. And second, it is the responsibility of the federal government to ensure that veterans have proper access to the full array of benefits, services, and supports promised to them by a grateful nation. From this firm footing, we developed a series of sweeping proposals to expand access by strengthening, reforming, and sustaining the VA healthcare system. We proposed creating integrated networks using community providers where gaps exist, and keeping the VA as a coordinator and principal provider of care. Around the same time, VA released its new plan to consolidate non-VA care programs, including the Choice Program. We were pleased that the VA plan had many similarities with the IB framework, including creating an integrated network, which was not surprising since VA worked closely with us to develop its own plan. However, some political groups and politicians want to use VA's problems as an excuse to shrink or even eliminate the VA healthcare system entirely, an outcome that would be devastating for ill and injured veterans who choose to rely on VA for their care. Fueled by one-sided negative media reporting and political agendas, they argue that veterans would be better off without a VA healthcare system. Now, we certainly agree that there are problems inside the VA healthcare system, some quite serious, just as there are in private sector hospitals and healthcare systems. However, those of us who actually use the VA for our medical care know that the media has painted an incomplete picture that fails to tell the whole story of VA healthcare. As Mark Twain once said, a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting on its shoes. So in order to get the truth out about the VA healthcare system, VA's Operation Keep the Promise 2016 launched our new Setting the Record Straight campaign during our midwinter conference. Using a multifaceted media approach, our legislative and communications teams developed a series of op-eds, videos, and social media tools to tell the true facts about VA healthcare, how it compares to private sector care, and what we proposed as solutions. Rather than telling you what our Setting the Record Straight campaign looked like, let me show you.
When it comes to veterans' health care reform, it's hard to separate the noise from the truth. So DAV is setting the record straight. Some politicians, political, and veterans groups have suggested VA should be transitioned into merely an insurance program, paying for services in the private sector rather than providing direct health care to veterans. So why is this such a bad idea, and how could it possibly hurt veterans? Turning VA into an insurance provider would shrink or shut down the nation's largest fully integrated healthcare system. This means millions of veterans could lose access to the specialized, veteran-specific experience and expertise that currently exists within the VA's 150-plus medical centers and 1,000-plus outpatient clinics. Veterans would have to deal with new government insurance regulations, lifetime limits on care, and more red tape in order to access health care. Additionally, veterans would be forced to assume more of the financial cost of the medical care they receive by paying premiums, co-payments, and deductibles. So what's a better solution? The answer is to improve access to care, not eliminating VA care. We should create veterans' health care networks in every local market to seamlessly integrate community care into the VA system. VA would remain the coordinator and principal provider of care to include primary care, more effectively allowing doctors to prevent and treat conditions that are unique to or more prevalent among veterans. These newly formed local community networks would ensure veterans get the highest quality care when and where they need it. Don't get lost in the noise. Learn more and get involved in the effort to reform veterans' health care at dav.org/settingtherecordstraight. When it comes to veterans' health care reform, it's hard to separate the noise from the truth. So DAV is setting the record straight. Some politicians, political, and veterans groups have suggested the way to fix the VA is to simply let the money follow the veteran. So why is this such a bad idea, and how could it possibly hurt veterans? At first glance, giving veterans a voucher or card to pay for health care whenever and wherever they choose may sound like a good idea. But the private sector is ill-prepared to accept millions of veterans into their practices without creating lengthy delays for care, and most of these medical professionals lack the expertise and experience treating veterans as compared to the full-time health professionals working at VA. Additionally, if veterans were to use cards or vouchers to find their own care in the community, there would be no single entity accountable for ensuring the quality and coordination of their care. This would subject veterans to overtreatment or undertreatment of their conditions, and ultimately, poorer healthcare outcomes. So what's a better solution? Instead of rushing to implement a new voucher system that may cause more problems and delays, we must increase access to care. And VA needs to create coordinated local veterans healthcare networks to ensure veterans have new options for treatment, empowering veterans and their physicians to choose the best course of treatment available within their community, whether that's at VA or, if needed, through a community provider. Don't get lost in the noise. Learn more and get involved in the effort to reform veterans healthcare at dav.org/settingtherecordstraight.
Thank you. There's 5 of those videos, and they can be seen on the DAV website. And I just want to acknowledge Dan Clare and his communications team. Those were all done in-house. We also took our Setting the Record Straight campaign to the Congressional Mandated Commission on Care, which worked over the past year to make recommendations on VA healthcare reform. We were fortunate to have former DAV Washington Executive Director Dave Gorman serving as one of the commissioners. However, most of the others had little knowledge about the VA healthcare system. In fact, only a couple had ever been in a VA hospital or clinic. So to help educate the commission, we shared our videos and op-eds, met with their staff, and I was invited twice to speak to the commission, in addition to sharing DAV's positions. We also shared a binder with over 4,000 DAV members' personal experience with VA word for word. Let me share just one of them that sums up why we feel so strongly about the importance of fixing the VA. The veteran wrote, "I have received health care from the VA since 2012, when I retired from the military. I haven't had any of the issues that I have seen within the media outlets. I have received excellent care at the VA in Oklahoma, New Jersey, and currently in Alabama. I would never want to go back to the private sector for my health care because they are not equipped to meet the needs of our veterans. Having care at a VA clinic makes me feel more comfortable because I know that the people that are next to me have had similar experiences and will not judge me just because I look or act a little different than some of the other patients. I've had to take my family to private sector health care providers and would prefer to stick with the VA health care that is provided." It's stories like this and thousands of others that best make our case. A few weeks ago, the Commission issued its final report, and based on our initial review, there is much that we agree on in this report. Although there are still some problematic recommendations we will oppose. With Congress almost done for the year, the real debate will take place next year after a new president is elected and a new Congress convened. As we head into the fall, it will be critical for us to educate candidates and elected officials about what veterans truly want and need from the VA healthcare system. That's why DAV is re-energizing our Benefits Protection Team program, and I encourage all of you to talk to your department leaders about how to play a role in preserving the VA healthcare system for future generations. Looking ahead, there are a number of positive signs of progress. DAV, our VSO partners, VA, and now the Commission on Care have all proposed that the VA healthcare system remain the coordinator and primary provider of care to veterans, even while we integrate community partners to fill in gaps when and where needed. VA's reform efforts, led by Secretary McDonald and Deputy Secretary Gibson, including their My VA initiative, are beginning to change the culture at VA for the better. And despite the continuing political stalemate in Washington, there is growing consensus in Congress on a number of critical reforms to strengthen veterans' health care services and enhance their earned benefits. By the end of the year, we may have some victories, but we should not minimize the long battle ahead. To borrow a quote from Winston Churchill, "This is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end. but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. This is, however, the beginning of the end of my remarks. While I remain optimistic about the coming year, like Churchill, I won't minimize the difficulties ahead. There are still hurdles and unforeseen obstacles to overcome, including political uncertainty over the upcoming elections. However, standing here today with all of you, I am fully confident that with the strength and resolve of our members and auxiliary behind us, we can, we must, and we will continue to fulfill our promises to all of the men and women who served. Thank you. Commander McIntosh, that concludes my report, and I respectfully ask for its acceptance by the Convention.
Thank you, Gary. That was an excellent report, very informative, and the members I know really appreciate it. You did a fantastic job. Keep up the good work. We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Commander Al LaBelle from Chapter 57 in Wisconsin seconds the motion.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. That's excellent. DAV has been on an unprecedented period of growth and diversification in terms of how we conduct our business. And the individual I'm about to introduce deserves much credit for our success and strategic direction. National Headquarters Executive Director Barry Jezanowski is a Persian Gulf era veteran of the United States Marine Corps. But that was really weak. Okay, that's more like it. Who was medically discharged in 1993, a native of Otter Tail County, Minnesota. He was appointed to his current position in August 2013 after serving as Executive Director of the National Service and Legislative Headquarters and in numerous other leadership positions at the executive level in Washington, D.C. and Cold Springs, Kentucky. A gifted and selfless leader, Barry has earned the respect of key leaders, associates, and members throughout the organization whose direction impact veterans. As DAV makes a historic evolution to enhance the breadth and scope of service we offer our veterans, Barry's strategic guidance and management have dramatically changed the organization reach for the better. As DAV Chief Financial Officer, his responsibilities cover all national headquarters, departments, including membership, volunteer services, accounting, employment, fundraising, communication, human resource, information technology, and direct mail. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in welcoming a visionary leader in the world of veteran service, National Headquarters Executive Director, Barry Jezanowski.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. One more extra long report. It'll be a good one, though. National Commander McIntosh, guests, and delegates, it's certainly my privilege to share what's going on at DAV National Headquarters with so many of you who make our cause possible through your tireless efforts. I want to thank Commander McIntosh and Adjutant Burgess, whose support and forward thinking have again spurred a year of tremendous growth for our organization. This year, we've focused on a concept that embodies our passion and our dedication to creating high-quality lives for our nation's injured and ill veterans. The concept of victories for veterans shows the results of DAV's efforts to keep our promises to the men and women who have served. Let's get a quick overview of what these victories can entail.
I am a veteran, and my victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
I am a veteran. My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
America's veterans are on their most important tour, the tour of their lives.
My victory was finishing my education.
Mine is proving a disability is not a limitation.
At DAV, we're on a mission to help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory is having my new battle buddy.
As veterans face their challenges, DAV is there to help for victories great and small.
I'm a veteran, and my victory is getting the help I needed to put my life back together.
DAV offers veterans of all generations a lifetime of support.
I'm a veteran. My victory is being there for my family.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Those were real voices from real veterans. They illustrate the limitless opportunities we have to empower veterans, their families, and their survivors to lead high-quality lives with respect and with dignity. DAV is as vital and as relevant today as we have been at any time in our history. Our most recent efforts in the area of employment show the impact we make when we focus foremost on creating victories for veterans. If you don't believe me, just ask Sam Johnson.
I'm Sam Johnson. I'm a Marine Corps veteran of the war in Iraq. We were on a patrol in Iraq and we came across a pressure plate IED and it took out the front part of the vehicle of the convoy that we were in. Luckily everybody survived, but a traumatic experience. I was able to have some surgeries on my knees and feel good, and now I can walk downstairs without too much pain. I work as a project manager in the utilities industry. I knew there was going to be a DAV recruit military job fair in Charlotte. I knew I was transitioning out and I knew I wanted to have a great job. So I went to that job fair. It gave me the opportunity to interview with these companies and land a job. I like being out here, interacting with the construction workers, the contractors, and just making this world a better place. I'm a veteran. My victory is to have a job that I can be proud of.
As Mark mentioned yesterday, in just over 2 years of existence, DAV's employment department has become an absolute force in terms of connecting veterans with employers. We're extremely proud of the fact that DAV hosted 71 career fairs in 2015. We're also very excited about the direction we're going in partnership with veteran recruiting. DAV has expanded into virtual fairs that extend our reach and enable veterans who wouldn't be able to attend fairs through our partnership with Recruit Military. We've challenged our nation's employers to hire 10,000 service-connected disabled veterans. This initiative has become a force in the employment arena and will continue to grow and to evolve. Last year, DAV conducted the Veterans Pulse Survey, the most comprehensive, nationally representative sample of its kind, and confirmed that fewer than half of all veterans feel that they're prepared for a career after leaving the military. Employment was identified as the most prominent challenge facing transitioning veterans and one of the top challenges for all veterans nationwide. We'll continue in the years ahead to advance this powerful service and address the critical needs veterans face today. When a veteran is changed as a result of his or her military service, he or she faces many challenges, as many of you in this room can certainly attest to. And we're not going to let those setbacks bar the door to the accomplishments and the opportunities that veterans can still enjoy. Just ask a very familiar voice to most of us how important it is to find a sense of community after a tremendous setback.
On January 11th, 1969, I stepped on a landmine and it traumatically blew off both of my legs and my left arm. I had just turned 21 years old that December. I'm Jim Sursley, an Army veteran of Vietnam. Just the basic things in life like eating with one hand, taking a shower, using a bathroom, getting dressed, just like being born all over again. And I think the moment when I truly knew I was going to be okay was when I found someone that I loved and fell in love with me and was willing to raise a family and to spend the rest of her life with me. I've been tremendously blessed. I have 4 children and 12 grandchildren. There is a life after those injuries, and I'm not going to allow this disability to keep me from enjoying things I want to do in life. I'm a veteran, and my victory is proving that a disability is not a limitation.
That's definitely one of my favorites. I think you all agree with me that Jim's cool factor is absolutely off the charts. Thank you, Jim, for helping us with that and all the other things that you continuously help us with at DAV. Jim knows how important it is for veterans to pursue their goals in terms of employment and in terms of reintegration into the community. As a past national commander, he also understands the value of DAV membership. Fortunately, with individuals like Jim in our ranks, DAV has made progress in an area that is one of the biggest challenges for veteran service organizations. As many of you know, we closed the 2015 membership year over the 1.3 million member mark. We sustained that effort thanks in large part to the dedication and the commitment of the people in this room. But it's important to understand why we need to strengthen our voice. According to Veterans Pulse survey, the divide between those who have served and the people we defended is only growing. In spite of how politically divisive the Vietnam War was, the survey showed that post 9/11 veterans are more likely to feel that people who never served could not understand what veterans experienced. Nearly 6 out of 10 post 9/11 veterans feel a disconnect with their civilian counterparts. The all-volunteer force of today represents just a fraction of a percent of the total population. Though we've waged war on 2 fronts, the general public has not been mobilized or really been asked to change their lives significantly whatsoever. A select few are carrying a heavy burden, and that is taking a toll on their lives and the lives of their families. We should be proud of the progress that we've made achieving 1.3 million members, but we must also see the value in building on that success, engaging our communities, and enhancing the relationship between veterans and the American public. One way that we've been able to build on that relationship has been through the DAV 5K run, walk, roll, and ride events. Let's take a quick look at DAV 5K here in Atlanta last November to capture the spirit of the community engagement that participants experience. We're expanding once again this year with Atlanta, Boston, Cincinnati, Newport News, and Tulsa hosting events. When the public is given an opportunity to participate and begin that relationship, we find hope in a brighter future. In 2017, it is my pleasure to announce that DAV will add San Antonio and Raleigh to our slate of 5Ks. We're thrilled with our progress in this area and the energy it brings our organization. Of course, 5Ks are not the only activities that give us reason for optimism. Our National Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic celebrated its 30th year of creating miracles on a mountainside. This event has never been as vibrant or important to the veterans community as it is today. We're reminded through this event of the spirit of our community. The veteran participants have overcome some of the most profound disabilities one can imagine. We're inspired by their courage and positive outlook on life, and their stories are reminders that we are not defined by our disabilities, but our will to overcome them. That's certainly true for Freedom Award recipient Mariella Malin, who, as Mark mentioned yesterday, was struck by a civilian vehicle while on patrol in the Kuwaiti desert in 2004. At one time, doctors wanted to take her off life support, but years of determination and effort eventually enabled her to walk, to drive, to ski, and to participate in our winter sports clinic. And like Mariella, our 2008 DAV Freedom Award recipient, Centra CC Mazik, used the event to challenge her perceived limitations and reach new heights in her life. She was so grateful to DAV and so compelled to support her fellow DAV members that she earned a place among those profiled in our public service announcements.
As soon as we were about to land, our parachutes came apart, and I didn't have enough time to prepare to land. So immediately when I land, I was paralyzed from the waist down. Hi, I'm Cece Mazik, and I am a disabled veteran of the United States Army. It's like, you know, when you feel something in your heart and in your mind and you know that you can do it, I said to myself, I'm gonna go back to school. And I was terrified. I just mustered it up, and I did it every day on campus for 4 years, and it was an awesome experience. Once I start something, I will finish it. That's the thing. It's also setting an example for my son to never give up. My name is Cece Mazik, and my victory was earning my education.
Perennially, the Winter Sports Clinic shows the life-changing impact that DAV and our partners at VA can have in the lives of our nation's heroes. But every day, meaningful thank yous are made possible through the selfless work of our DAV volunteers. DAV remains the most prolific veteran service organization in terms of volunteerism. It's important that each of you understand that we at the national headquarters are truly in awe of your efforts. Since 1987, DAV volunteers have driven more than 642 million miles. Last year alone, volunteers donated 1.6 million hours of their time to honor the service and sacrifices of our heroes and their families. We never forget that at the end of the day, the driving force behind every aspect of our mission is enabling victories for the veterans we serve. I want everyone here to know that we're doing our utmost at your national headquarters to honor your service to this organization. We're working to establish tools and resources that empower your efforts in your communities. We believe, based on all that you do and all that you've sacrificed, that DAV should be a household name. This year again, we're going to be pushing the DAV Thank a Vet initiative. Last year, with support from megastar Reba McEntire, we saw incredible reach from this special program. We want more of our members to get involved. It's easy enough to do it online at davthankavet.org.
What do you say to a veteran who answered the call, who made sacrifices, who defended our freedom? Say thank you with a video you make to honor the veteran in your life. Go to dav.org/thankavet. Write your words of thanks. Then upload some photos of your veteran. In minutes, you'll have a free personalized video you can share with the hashtag #ThankAvet. Use it to say what's in your heart and what every veteran should hear. Thank you.
We're working to honor your contributions at every level, and we're working with companies to build financial support and to enhance our outreach. We're hoping to build upon and maintain our outstanding relationships with Ford, USAA, and Golden Corral while continuing to develop new partnerships with companies like Hankook Tires, Blue Line Rental, Quick Lane, Price Choppers, B&B Theaters, and others who see the value in brand affiliation with the best veterans service organization in the world. We're building relationships with celebrities like Reba and some new relationships with celebrities like Jordan Sparks, Justin Moore, and LaDainian Tomlinson. And this fall, we'll be working with ABC to share our message through their programming. And we'll be on the big stage with Good Morning America. And we'll have a full week on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. On Wednesday evening, we'll have a special guest here whose voice is also going to help our outreach considerably. We're starting to get the notice that we deserve for the hard work you do every day. We're in the news and we're on the radio. We're seeing DAV billboards in our communities, and we can feel the momentum building behind our cause. And it can't happen soon enough, knowing that our nation's heroes are going to need a strong DAV for generations to come. But most importantly, we're focusing on victories for veterans and doing it right. Integrity remains the hallmark of DAV's brand. We're proud of what we've accomplished, and we're hopeful for the future. I'd like to thank DAV's members and leaders throughout the country for serving as a beacon of hope to our fellow veterans. May God bless each and every one of you for all that you've done to make these victories possible for DAV and the heroes that we all serve. Thank you, Commander. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Well, we have another excellent report by your executive directors. Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept?
Mike 2.
Mike 2.
Patterson, Chapter 45, Alabama, would be proud to make a motion that we accept the excellent report of Executive Director Jezanowski.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I hear a second? You have to go to the mic, sir.
Mike 1, Kirk
Mike
Johnson,
1.
Chapter 85, District 16, second motion.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Every day, DAV partners with thousands of passionate VA employees throughout this nation to work together to empower veterans and keep our promise to them. It is my pleasure to present 3 remarkable VA staff members, the National Commander's Outstanding VA Employees of the Year. These awards recognize their leadership, success, and compassion in support of our nation's ill and injured veterans. The Outstanding VA Health Administration Employee this year is Dr. Murray Altos, Chief of Staff at the Cleveland VA Medical Center in Ohio. Dr. Altos has devoted his life to veterans for nearly 30 years and has served their best interests in virtually every capacity possible for a physician in academic medicine. He's led efforts in administration, education, research, and clinical practice. His systematic implementation of 131 patient-aligned care teams at 14 locations was nationally recognized and provided a seamless experience for more than 112,000 veterans patients. Dr. Altos also has developed a physical medicine and rehabilitation program to include care for combat injured veterans with polytrauma and traumatic brain injuries. Further, he established a 16-bed inpatient blind rehabilitation center, a 28,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility that serves veterans throughout the region. He also instituted the 30-bed long-term spinal cord injury care unit, dedicated to veterans with spinal cord injuries who need long-term care. The Cleveland VA Medical Center also houses 10 clinical centers of excellency, which is more than any other VA medical center. And exceeding the VHA's patient satisfaction goal. This led to Cleveland's unique status of being just one of only 2 VHA facilities to maintain a 5-star quality rating for 5 consecutive years. Dr. Altos' knowledge and experience is invaluable, and his dedication in serving veterans is unmatched. I'd like to invite VA Undersecretary for Health, Dr. David Shulkin, and National Legislative Director Joy Elam to the stage for this presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Murray Altos.
Thank you all very much. And thank you in particular to DAV for this wonderful honor. For me, I've served as the Chief of Staff of the Cleveland VA for just 28 years. And for me, it's been a labor of love, and it's been a fantastic honor to be able to serve the veterans of Northeast Ohio. But the fact of the matter is that it takes a village. And so I need to also thank all of the wonderful, dedicated, hardworking doctors and nurses, and actually the entire staff of the Cleveland VA for all of the work that they've done, because the fact of the matter is, none of these things could have been accomplished without their help, without their hard work, without their commitment. But most important, I need to thank all of the veterans of Northeast Ohio who come to the Cleveland VA Medical Center for their care and for the privilege that they've given me to be able to provide them with the care that they need and they deserve. Veterans who have served and sacrificed allow me the privilege to support their health care, to try to make them as healthy as possible, to manage their illnesses when they get sick, and to work hard to ensure that they have the very best quality of life. And finally, I want to again thank the DAV for the tremendous support and advocacy for veterans, and particularly for the VA. The VA is still the very best healthcare organization in the country. We all need to work together to keep it strong and to make it grow from strength to strength. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. What a major accomplishment. Congratulations, Ohio. The 2016 DAV National Commanders Award for Outstanding Department of Veteran Affairs employee within the VA Benefits Administration is Bobby Hall of the VA Regional Office in Louisville, Kentucky. Bobby, a decorated combat veteran, retired from the U.S. Air Force in 2007 after 20 years of honorable service. He began his career with the VA in January 2014, serving as a veteran service representative. Bobby would remain in that position until taking over his current role as Terminal Veterans Coordinator in June of 2015. As the Louisville VA Regional Office Terminal Coordinator, he has visited veterans in the local VA medical centers, sometime on his own, to ensure a claim has been properly filled out. Bobby also worked with veterans' families and physicians in developing the facts necessary for proper adjudication of claims. Bobby works energetically in this mission to assist the terminal and severely injured veterans of Kentucky and southern Indiana. And it is my privilege to honor a true professional who works consistently to improve the lives of his fellow veterans. I'll ask VA Acting Undersecretary for Benefits, Tom Murphy, and National Service Director Jim Marzalak to the stage for this important presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Bobby Hall.
First, I'd like to thank Rick Vicari and all the guys back home at the Louisville DAV office for submitting me for this award. It's truly humbling and an honor to stand in front of you, to be recognized for something that I just love to do. I love helping people, especially my fellow veterans. I'd like to thank my wife, Christy, that she has enabled me to run faster and climb higher than I could have ever dreamed. And lastly, most of all, I'd like to thank God, because it is through Him that has given me strength to do what I do every day. And just know that every day that I work for the VA, my mind has been trained to be a VSR, but my heart beats for the veterans and their families because I care. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Man, you did good. Continue to do good.
I will, every day.
Thank you, Bobby, for all you do in service to our nation's heroes. DAV member and Army veteran Shay M. Austin is this year's VA National Cemetery Administrative Employee of the Year. She serves veterans, their families, and survivors as director of Black Hills National Cemetery in Sturgis, South Dakota, where she is responsible for all burial, maintenance, and administrative operations. Sheree took over as the cemetery director in May 2014 as a daily contact with her local community. She addresses their concerns, resolves complaints, and assists visitors to ensure a high level of customer service and satisfaction. She is directly involved with the oversight of several current and upcoming construction service contracts, including the raise and realignment project at Black Hills and Hot Springs National Cemetery. This includes more than 14,000 headstones, new turf, and renovation of well over 75 acres. She is simultaneously creating and establishing the budget for Yellowstone National Cemetery, the first of 8 new smaller national burial grounds in rural states, local in Laurel, Montana. She is committed to ensuring her fellow veterans are aware of their eligibility to be buried at a national cemetery free of charge. Day in and day out, Shrey works diligently to make sure that families know that this final resting place will honor their heroes' service and sacrifice. I'll ask our Washington headquarters Executive Director, Gary Augustine, to the stage for this one presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Ms. Shrey Austin.
Good morning. I have to admit, this is probably my least favorite part, making a speech. From a personal standpoint, leading to my professional service to our veterans, having the insight of growing up in war-torn Cambodia during the Pol Pot regime, my appreciation of our service member goes well beyond just a paycheck and or a job. Without the ideal of the land of the free, home of the brave, my family and I would not be here today. Our men and women who have sacrificed day in, day out are the reason my family and I know what life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness truly means. I served 10 years in the U.S. Army and Army Reserve and continue my public service in the National Cemetery Administration today, because no amount of thanks will ever replace the sacrifices our veterans have made. I am truly and forever indebted to all of those who have worn the cloth of this great nation, and I'm very, very honored to be the recipient of this award. Thank you.
Thank you again to our outstanding VA employees. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a round of applause on behalf of all VA employees who work each day to fulfill our nation's promise to the men and women who serve. And let's give them a round of applause. Now it is my pleasure to recognize the outstanding local veterans, employment representative, and Disabled Veterans Outreach Program Specialist recipients 2016. These awards recognize the commitment and compassion for 2 individuals who are dedicated to serving our nation's ill and injured veterans. The recipients being recognized are shining examples of veterans helping veterans, and we are proud to honor them for their selfless service. The award for Outstanding Local Veteran Employment Representative will be presented to Robert Hetzel of Temple, Texas, who unfortunately could not attend today. This year's Outstanding Disabled Veteran Outreach Program Specialist Award recipient is Robert Singer, an employment specialist with the Virginia Employment Commission. In this capacity, Robert ensures that every veteran who seeks his support receive the answers and assistance they are looking for. Robert, a fellow disabled veteran with 30 years of service in the United States Marine Corps. No comment. And DAV Life member, has demonstrated a unique zeal for supporting fellow veterans. In 2015 alone, Robert had nearly 3,000 individual acts of service obtained for veterans spread across 268 clients. Just in January to February of this year, that's just 1 month, he had already directly assisted 34 clients. Robert has also made it a point to engage the problem of veterans' homelessness head on. His local DAV chapter committee on veteran homelessness said they have yet to encounter a homeless or at-risk veteran who has not already spoken to Robert or been referred to DAV by him. His sense of duty does not stop once he has obtained the individual assistance a veteran may need. For instance, Robert came across a young veteran who relocated to Virginia from California so she could escape an abusive relationship. Robert quickly connected her to community resources, helped her attain training for employment, and continually follows up to ensure she has not lost through this challenging transition. That's just one of many examples of his passion for helping fellow veterans. Ms. Priscilla Stinson, the employment coordinator with the VA Vocational and Rehabilitation Office in Richmond, Virginia, said, and I quote, "Veterans leave the initial meeting with Mr. Singer with an increased resolve and confidence that they will be able to secure employment, which has been inspired by Mr. Singer." Robert's network includes contact in 9 veteran service organizations, 4 professional military associations, and 8 military historical associations. I'll ask Jeff Hall to come to the stage for this important presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing Robert Singer.
Good morning. Comrades, as a second-generation DAV member, it is certainly an honor and a privilege to be here today. And I salute all of you that help us take care of America's disabled American veterans in their transition to civilian life. As I stand up here as a DVOP for the Commonwealth of Virginia, I'd like to say I recognize all the DVOPs out there in all 50 states that do the best that they can to help America's disabled veterans transition to employment in the civilian community. I would also be negligent if I didn't recognize the agency I work for, the Virginia Employment Commission, and all the civilians that help us take care of veterans also. Also, I am a proud member of Chapter 7 of the Fredericksburg DAV, General George Washington, and all of this could not have taken place without 3 people: my commander, Lisa Gregory, Rita Abrig, and Stephen Combs. We all know on active duty nothing gets done, nobody gets recognized until somebody does the paperwork. They saw what I did, they took the time, and I'll tell you what, it's very humbling. In the end, I'd just like to tell you, it's an honor and a privilege to wear this cover, and I'm damn proud to stand in formation with all of you today.
Thank you, Robert. He's definitely a veteran's veteran. Each year, DAV recognizes companies who go out of their way to recruit and hire disabled veterans. It is my pleasure to announce the DAV Employee of the Year Awards for 3 outstanding organizations who recognizes the value of hiring American veterans. Smart employers know veterans are an invaluable asset to any team. They are highly trainable, dependable, adaptable, and they come ingrained with an extraordinary work ethic. Veteran Energy is a Houston-based company that makes it part of their business strategy to recruit, hire, train, and develop veteran employees in addition to its support of veterans in the community. Their president and founder is a veteran himself, so he's very aware that when you hire veterans, it's not philanthropy, it's smart business. Additionally, Veterans Energy actively seeks transition in military personnel by attending universities and military recruitment fairs. 92% of Veteran Energy's workforce are veterans. And another one you're going to like, and 85% of team members are disabled veterans. The company set aside 1 weekend a month for volunteering in the community level, veterans and active duty causes with one of their 14 affinity partners, all dedicated to meeting the needs of veterans and their families. Finally, Veteran Energy provides free or reduced electricity to local DAV chapters, and military veterans receive a discount when enrolling for service with Veteran Energy. If the veteran is at risk financially, Veteran Energy waives their deposit fee and ensures the electricity to the veteran's home is not turned off. It is given. It's my distinct pleasure to invite Kelvin Barber on the stage to receive the DAV Outstanding Small Employer of the Year Award.
Good morning. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here in front of so many qualified veterans. It's humbling in a lot of respects. My company's mission statement since day one has been to positively effectuate the lives of veterans, active duty militaries, and their families on a daily basis. That's how we judge ourselves at the end of the day. And I'm proud to say that our mission is being accomplished on a daily basis. Personally, as a DAV Life member and a U.S. Army, former U.S. Army military police canine handler, it's my mission to empower veterans. It's about advocacy for the self-empowerment of veterans for me. It's not about handouts. It's about putting that hand out, and I know DAV does that every day as well. So we want to change that narrative out here, and I challenge each and every one of you to join me in that, being an advocate for the self-empowerment of veterans. Also, your enthusiasm and passion is motivating. I had an opportunity to meet with a lot of people yesterday, and today I see it. And again, congratulations on your mission. Much success on a go-forward basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Veteran Energy. and I thank the state of Texas. That's more like it. That's a good program, and it benefits the veterans of Texas. Our next recipient is also adamant about having veterans in their ranks and is awarded the inaugural DAV Medium-Sized Employer of the Year Award. Z System Corporation, based in Killeen, Texas. Texas, you're on a roll. Is a professional service company that specializes in logistics, engineering, information technology, and international development. A Department of Defense contractor, 63% of their total workforce are veterans, and 25% of those are disabled veterans. The company, The company works closely with Fort Hood Transition Assistance Office, as well as the Heart of Texas Goodwill Industries, Texas Veteran Commission, local VA offices, Texas Workforce Commission, and Texas Veteran Leadership Program. Through these strategic partnerships, Z System Corporation seamlessly connects with veterans' talent to add to their workforce. One of the many things that make this organization unique is that they recognize the power of transferring military skills into the workplace. This is why, when promotion opportunities become available in the company, Z System Corporation considers military career experience along with experience within the company when they consider advancement opportunities. This illustrates steadfast dedication to the career progression of a veteran employee. Would Mike McCoy, Z Systems CEO, please join me to accept the DAV Outstanding Medium Employee of the Year Award.
Good morning. I am grateful and humbled to receive this award. Z System has been in business a little over 20 years, and day one, the very first person I hired was a veteran. It became clear to me, thank you. It became clear to me that if you're going to be in the business of defense contracting, you need to hire those individuals who understood the business, and those are the veterans. Thank you. So I thank you so much for this award. Appreciate it, and good morning. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate all you do for that. Well, Texas, give yourself a round of applause. I guess the old saying is true. Everything is bigger in Texas. Y'all got it. But yeah, we got Georgia on our mind, but Texas is leading the way right now. The 2016 Large Employee of the Year is First Data, based right here in Atlanta. First Data developed a program called First Data Salutes, which includes a military and veteran affairs team who actively recruit veterans and their spouses. Since the establishment of the team 2 years ago, the amount of military-affiliated new hires jumped from 2% to 15%. Nearly 8% of all U.S. employees are veterans or spouses of veterans. In 2015 alone, First Data hired 99 women veterans. And 29 disabled veterans. They maintain a military and veterans affairs team as well. And you got to understand they love DAV because I'm going to give you one fact that some of you don't know. In fact, DAV's own 1st Junior Vice Commander Delphine Metcalf Foster serves on that team. Give her a round of applause. Stand up, Delphine. The organization is very keen on not only recruiting and hiring veterans, but retaining them as well. This is why the company has training twice per month for hiring managers who have recently hired a veteran or spouse. The training includes reminding the managers of First Data's commitment to their support of Guard and Reserve employees, the challenges associated with transition from military services, and the many strengths veterans and spouses bring to the workforce. Recognizing that education often plays a role in career development, First Data established a partnership with the Institute for Veterans and Military Family at Syracuse University, where veterans and spouses can pursue higher education at no cost to them. The organization also supports the men and women who are still in uniform. Last year, First Data employees contributed more than 18,000 handwritten cards offering messages of support and encouragement to service members, veterans, and their families. The organization's senior leadership team and more than 50 other owner associations marched in the Veterans Day Parade in New York City last year, showcasing the company's support for military members, veterans, and families. It is my distinct pleasure to invite Tom Higgins, Executive Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer from First Data, to join me on the stage to accept the DAV Outstanding Large Employer of the Year Award.
Good morning, DAV. And good morning, Atlanta. It's a pleasure to be before you today, and I humbly accept the award on behalf of the folks at First Data. As the Chief Administrative Officer and a veteran myself, I understand very clearly the value of hiring veterans. I think that the commander and the speakers prior to myself have laid all that out very clearly, so I don't need to go into that. But I just wanted to thank each and every one of you in the room for everything you do. I think that as a group, as a coalition moving forward together, we as a group can improve the state of veteran employment in this nation, and we know what that means to the individual and to the family. I also accept on behalf of the military and veterans team, good morning, Delphine, at First Data. Delphine, you've met already, and we have a couple other folks over by the door. Wave. There we go. Thank you. But again, it is I who thank you. Commander, thanks so much. DAV, thank you.
Let's give these outstanding companies another round of applause. In October 2007, we announced the creation of the Local Veterans Assistance Program, or LVAP, to assist veterans and their dependents in their local communities through a variety of initiatives. Opportunities abound for individuals to empower veterans and their families to live high-quality lives with respect and with dignity. Not all volunteers live in close proximity to a VA medical center or other VA facilities, and others have special skills or preferred non-traditional volunteerism. LVAP allows volunteers to provide needed services to veterans and their families as DAV volunteers. It's an honor our organization and encourages and recognizes volunteerism. Opportunities abound for individuals to empower veterans and their families. And since the inception of this program, more than 7,100 volunteers have donated over 2.7 million hours of service through LVAP. We invite all departments and chapters to get involved and make a difference. Volunteer incentives apply to all our programs. LVAP volunteers are eligible for the same benefits and recognition as others. Youth volunteers who serve through LVAP will also be eligible to apply for the DAV Jesse Brown Scholarship Program. LVAP activities may include chapter and department service officer work, DAV outreach efforts, and approved fundraisers. Volunteers can use their time to provide direct assistance to veterans, survivors, or families by doing yard maintenance, home repairs, or taking veterans on errands. They can also use special skills to assist veterans or DAV by managing social networking efforts for chapters, providing classes to enhance the lives of veterans, or any other initiative that provide a direct service. I'll ask John Kleindienst and National Headquarters Executive Director Barry Jeselowski to the stage to assist in this presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my utmost pleasure to recognize our top DAV state-level department in the area of LVAP service. The 2016 LVAP Division winner, let me announce him. I didn't announce who it was. Let me go back. Frank, you're a little early, but that's okay. We know it was going to be Virginia. I don't have to introduce it. This is Virginia's, what, fifth year? Yes. Encourage or something.
Just a little clue to everybody keep asking why Virginia wins every year. Our state motto is Virginia's for lovers. And we love what we do, which is service to veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was Division 1, and I'm a member of that chapter, Chapter 10. So I'm part of this. So, Division 2, the Department of Oklahoma, past Department Commander Craig E. Vance with 94,720 hours.
On behalf of the hardworking and dedicated members of Oklahoma DAV, Auxiliary, and juniors, I accept this award on their behalf. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't worry about it, Virginia. You had about 170,000 hours. Division 3, the Department of Missouri, past Department Commander Alex J. Hernandez with 21,514 hours.
Commander, on behalf of the Department of Missouri, the auxiliary, our juniors, I want to thank you for this award.
Thank you. Good job. Division 4, the Department of Nebraska, past Department Commander Roger Franklin with 11,603 hours.
Department of Nebraska, thank you very much for all you do. I'm proud to accept this award for you. You and Auxiliary, you made our day. Thank you.
Division 5, the Department of South Dakota, past Department Commander Rodney Parks with 16,982 hours.
On behalf of the Department of South Dakota, I'd just like to extend thanks to Lacey Van Emmerich, who is our LVAP chairperson, and without her efforts, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you.
We thank all of our volunteers in VA hospitals, transportation network drivers, and participants of the local Veteran Assistance Program for their compassionate service to the disabled veteran. Thank you for your helping hands and kind hearts. Please join me again. Let's give them a round, warm of applause. Come on. Our next presentation is a gentleman that I always admired. I spent 10 days with him, and I thoroughly enjoyed his company. And at this time, it gives me great honor to make this special presentation to honor a man who has been a part of our organization for 40 years and has touched more lives than we can keep track of. In 1964, at just 18 years old, Larry Barnett attended the Al Summers Umpire School in Daytona Beach, Florida. Despite never having umpired before, he graduated first in his class. In 1969, just 2 seasons into his career in the minor league baseball, he was called up to the show. He would go on to umpire the American League for 3 decades, including 4 World Series, 6 American League Championship Series, and 5 All-Star games before his retirement in 1999. He was respected by players, managers, and fans alike. Well, maybe not always, but more often than not. Let me put it this way. As long as you don't do a Google search for the Game 3 of the 1975 World Series or catcher's interference, he has a sterling record. So we got those iPhones out there. Let's Google it. In all seriousness, though, the respect baseball has for him may be best represented by Baltimore Orioles great Cal Ripken Jr. It was September 1995, and Ripken was on the verge of breaking Yankee great Lou Gehrig's long-standing record of playing 2,131 consecutive games. Ripken personally requested Larry Barnett to be behind the plate and call the balls and strikes for his record-breaking night. That was truly an honor. Larry said it was probably the biggest thrill of his baseball career, and that's saying a lot. To those who know him and have seen him in action, baseball is just a part of his life. So it's his heartfelt commitment and passion to our nation veterans. Over the past 40 years, Larry has visited every single VA in the country, most numerous times. He has made well over 3,000 total visits, lifting the spirits of injured veterans. Many of the veterans Larry visits are receiving terminal or inpatient care and rarely receive visitors. He has received an honorary doctorate degree from Bowling Green State University in Ohio for his public service. In 1982, he was nominated for the Medal of Freedom by then-President Ronald Reagan. In 1993, he won the Referee Magazine Golden Whistle Award, signifying outstanding achievement in professional officiating. He started the Larry and Sharon Barnett Scholarship in Bowling Green State University in 1996 and is a partnership owner of the Jim Evans Academic of Professional Baseball Umpiring. Furthermore, on the top of all of this, in 2014, he played a significant role in adding a Veterans Memorial to his community park in Prospect, Ohio. And of course, DAV seal is prominently displayed there. I'll ask National Director of Voluntary Service, John Kleindienst, and National Headquarters Executive Director, Barry Jeselowski, to the stage for this special presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, DAV would like you to welcome Larry Barnett to the stage to receive this Lifetime Achievement Award.
Good morning. Thank you, Commander McIntosh, National Adjutant Burgess, and thanks to the DAV members. I would like to personally thank the DAV, the auxiliary, and the more than 1.3 million DAV members around the country. And in my opinion, the greatest veterans organization in this country. I would like to reflect back, if I may, a few years and thank past National Adjutant Dale Adams, who got me started on this journey 40 years ago. So I would like to say thank you to Dale Adams. To past National Commander Art Wilson, I would like to give a huge thanks to, and also to our present National Commander Mark Burgess. 3 great men, 1 great organization. In baseball, I had the best job in the world for 37.5 years. And as people say, I had the best seat in the house, but I had to stand up. Now, I must tell you one baseball joke, and that's going to be all I'm going to tell you. On a hot Saturday afternoon, I was working in New York City with the Yankees in the Bronx. I knew that would get a cheer out of New York. I had the great catcher in front of me, Thurman Munson. And for the first 3 innings of the game, Thurman and I were back and forth. If I called it a strike, he said it was a ball. If I called it a ball, he said it was a strike. At the top of the 4th inning, I went out to dust off home plate, looked up and I said, Thurman, if you don't shut your mouth, I'm going to bite your head right off your shoulders. He looked me right in the eye and he said, Larry, you know, if you do that, you'd have more brains in your stomach than you do in your head. People always said that I was with superstars my whole career. And I'll tell you, they were right. Most of them are sitting in this room, most of the ones that I see at the VA hospitals, and our veterans are our superstars of this country. We should never, ever forget that. All of the things that I have done in my life, and I can honestly say at 71, my bucket list is full. You're looking at a very blessed person, and I'm very happy for that. Other than my family, Sharon, our oldest daughter, Susan, my son-in-law, John, and the greatest little guy in all of our lives, our grandson, Carson, and our youngest daughter, Katie. The best thing that I have done in my life has been my association with the disabled American veterans. It's not even close. To Gary, to Barry, to Mark, and also to John, I say thank you. I just want to thank the organization for this great honor. And I also, may God bless the DAV, may God bless the veterans, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. DAV, keep up the fight for what you're doing. You're winning, so keep it going. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Well done. The demographics within DAV's membership ranks are ever changing. We are sadly seeing losses among World War II veterans as the needs among our Vietnam-era veterans are growing. Meanwhile, we are welcoming home a new generation of warriors who have fought through multiple deployments in 2 years. This all-volunteer force represents a small fraction of the population, and although they survived horrific injuries, we know that war has changed them and that their needs are great. Fortunately, we can be proud to announce that DAV continues to do an outstanding job bringing in new members to ensure the legacy of our voice in the nation's capital. This year, our organization surpassed an important milestone. We now have a sustained membership of over 1.3 million. Without further ado, I'll ask National Membership Director Doug Wells up here as we recognize our top departments and recruiters whose contributions have made this tremendous success possible. Division 1, departments with more than 35,000 members. For Division 1, our top recruiting department happens to be the largest department in the organization. Please give a round of applause for California J.R. Wilson, who will be accepting the award on behalf of the Department of California. Division 2, departments with 18,000 to 34,000 members. For Division II, we honor the great recruiting skills of our veterans. Please give a round welcome for past Department Commander Gregory D. Ramus, the Department of Minnesota. Division III, departments with 10,000 to 7,000 members. Division III, please give a rousing reception for past Department Commander Kevin J. Walkowski, the Department of Minnesota. Wisconsin. I'm a member of Minnesota, so I wanted to get it twice. Division IV, departments with 5,000 to 9,000 members. For Division IV, let's give a round of applause to past Department Commander Catherine A. Baran, DAV, Department of Nevada. Departments with 5,000 members or less. For Division V, let's recognize Eric Van Emmerichs, the Department of South Dakota. The next award is the General Jonathan M. Wainwright Award. This award is presented to the department that closes the year with the largest increase in new members. The DAV department, who will receive this year's award, has taken this trophy home for the past 9 consecutive years. And this now marks a full decade. Yes, Texas. You have earned this honor. Will the Reverend Dr. Charles W. Edwards, Jr. step forward to receive this award? The Robert S. Marks Award is presented to the department that completes the year with the highest percentage increase of fully paid life members over goal. This year's winner is the Department of Minnesota, represented by Greg Ramus. You're doing a good job there, Butch. The Membership Recruiter Hall of Fame Award has been given since 1994. DAV recognizes the success of recruiters who have signed 100 or more new members for 3 consecutive membership years with a gold lapel pin. Please give a round of applause for this year's inductee, Romaine Barnett. Our top recruiter from our membership ranks is a current chapter service officer and past department commander in Alabama. Through his dedication and leadership, his chapter is one of the largest in the department. Our recruiting chapter in much more populated areas. He is credited with recruiting 121 members to join DAV. Please give a warm reception for this proud member from Chapter 9 in Enterprise, Alabama, William Bill Baker. One of the reasons, and it's a primary reason why DAV has continued to build and maintain its membership for so many years, is that veterans who experience DAV's free services understand the life-changing value of our organization. The work of our service officers at every level is amazing, but equally amazing is their ability to communicate the value of membership to the veterans who have benefited from our assistance. The work of our national service officers have been critical to the health of our membership for many years and is greatly appreciated. It is important that we recognize the contributions of these professionals and the added passion they bring that makes people want to be a part of our organization. Therefore, it is with great pride that I present the top recruiter from our NSO Corps, who remarkably recruited 291 veterans to join our ranks. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Derek W. Norman, DAV National Service Office in St. Louis, Missouri. Family, please remember, when you introduce a veteran to DAV, you are providing a great service to them and our organization. You never know who you will join until you ask. Please keep up the great work in this area. It's critical to our success. I'd like to call on Board of Directors Treasurer Raleigh Lee for his report.
Good morning, DAV. National Commander McIntosh, DA members and guests. The members of the Board of Directors join me in this report, and they are Chairman Ron F. Hope from the state of North Carolina, Vice Chairman David W. Raleigh from Alabama, Secretary J. Mark Burgess, Directors Frank Mohan from Utah, Johnny N. Stewart from Arizona, and Richard L. Tofa of Florida along with National Commander McIntosh and National Judge Advocate Dobmeyer, who served as advisors. It's my honor and privilege to present a report on the financial affairs of our organization for the 6-month period ending June 30th, 2016. DAV's total solicited support through that date was $50.5 million. Direct mail contributions was $38.6 million, primarily from mailing 38.1 million solicited pieces. Requests were $7.7 million. Under the department fundraising program, payouts to department in December 2015 and June 2016 totaled $2.8 million, and in addition to the supplemental payment of $1.4 million in November of 2015. Since the program began in 1994, $93.3 million have been distributed to departments for their service programs. The board would like to thank all of our departments for the continuing participation in this program, and especially our members for their generosity. As of June 2016, DA received total support and revenue from all sources of $86.5 million. Through June of 2016, DAV had a total expenditure of $101.3 million, of which $75.5 million were for service programs. 70.4% of total expenses. It is important to remember that these expenses are for the federally chartered purposes of our organization. Over the same period, expenditures for fundraising of $20.7 million decreased by 4.4% from those incurred for 2015. Administrative outlays were $5.1 million compared to those this time last year. As of June 2016, the market value of our general fund long-term investment portfolio is $362.8 million, a 3.8% decrease from June 30th, 2015. DAV's unrestricted net assets, or net worth, have decreased from $283.5 million at this time last year to $269.2 million. However, since our year-end low of $194.9 million during the 2008 recession, the value of our net assets has grown by $74.3 million, or 38%. DAV's hardworking staff, nationwide and at both headquarters, has been investing in new areas of assistance, public outreach, and IT systems to provide more services to veterans. They are also devoting resources to the new fundraising opportunities. They will continue to closely monitor expenses and use our resources wisely. We are also pleased to report that on June 30th, 2016, the Life Membership Fund reserve was $59.3 million. Commander, it also my privilege to present DA's proposed 2017 annual budget for ratification by this convention. At the May 17, 2016 meeting of the Board of Directors, held at National Headquarters in Cold Springs, Kentucky, the board was presented the 2017 proposed budget. The budget was assembled by the DAV Accounting and Financial Department with the Assistant Department Directors and was reviewed by our National Adjutant Burgess and our Executive Director Jananowski and Augustine. The board unanimously approved the proposed budget at that time, of a copy of which was provided to all convention attendees at registration. I would like to thank National Adjutant Mark Burgess and his staff for their hard work, which makes this report possible. Let me thank you, Commander McIntosh, for the support I received in my role as the Board of Directors Treasurer. It has been a privilege to hold this position Commander, this concludes my report to the National Convention, a report I feel honored to offer to all of our delegates.
Thank you, Raleigh, for your service in that very informative report. And I have a motion to accept Raleigh's financial report. Mike 1.
Mike 1, Mike Steinbaugh, Chapter 7, District 16, so moves.
Okay. We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Mike 2, Danny Oliver, Chapter 88, District 21, second.
Thank you, Danny. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? So ordered. At this time, I would like to call on Chairman Rob Reynolds for his report of the Committee on Constitution and Bylaws.
Good morning, Comrade Commander and delegates. The National Convention of Committee on Constitution and Bylaws was called to order on July 31st, 2016 by the committee advisors Rob Reynolds and Ed Hartman. The first order of business was the election of a convention committee chairman and secretary. Rob Reynolds was elected as chairman and J.R. Wilson was elected as secretary. The committee then proceeded to review the resolutions submitted, and I will now report to you the resolutions recommended for adoption by this National Convention. For the purposes of saving time, I will read only the number and purpose of the resolution. Resolution number 216, amend the third sentence of Article 3, Section 3.10, Paragraph 2, Rule 21D, to read as follows. All proposed amendments shall be presented to the convention no later than the second day prior to the scheduled day of adjournment of the convention, and voting thereon shall begin the following business day. Resolution number 217, add as Article 6, Section 6.4, Paragraph 8. If a department, chapter, county, or district council, former DAV entity, voluntarily or involuntarily ceases to operate as a DAV-related entity, all assets that were held or should have been held by former DAV entity, or the actual date of such cessation, regardless of when finalized or formalized, belong to DAV. Such assets shall be transferred as provided herein in the case of the cessation of a department. Assets shall be transferred to the national organization. In the case of the cessation of a chapter or county or district council, assets shall be transferred to the State Department having jurisdiction, or if there is no State Department, to the national organization. This provision shall not apply in the case of chapter mergers approved by the National Executive Committee. This provision shall apply regardless of whether former DAV entity continues to exist as a legal entity subsequent to its association with DAV. Resolution number 218, delete the last sentence of Article 12, Section 12.3, Paragraph 2, which reads, transportation expense shall be allowed in addition. Resolution number 219, delete the last sentence of Article 14, Section 14.5, Paragraph 1, which reads, the Board of Directors, with the concurrence of a 2/3 majority of the National Executive Committee, shall authorize the investment and reinvestment of such portions of the Life Membership Fund as it may determine to be in the best interest of the membership program. Resolution number 220, amend the language of Article 15, Section 15.3, Paragraph 5, to allow departments, chapters, and auxiliary units to conduct their Forget-Me-Not drives at any time during the year, so long as the Forget-Me-Not drive by each entity does not exceed 7 days. Current language restricts Forget-Me-Not drives to be conducted for 7 consecutive days. Resolution number 221, amend the first sentence of Article 19, Section 19.2 to read as follows. The names and contact information of the members of the Disabled American Veterans and its auxiliary in whatever format shall not be used for the commercial purposes of support of any partisan political action committee or for any political use or for any other purposes other than one directly connected to the approved activities of the organization. Current language only protects names and addresses. This change will further protect email addresses and any other form of existing or future forms of contact information. Comrade Commander, this completes the first reading of the report on the Committee on Constitution and Bylaws and the recommended changes to the Constitution and bylaws.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. We are here at the final report of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee at Wednesday's business session. Adjutant Burgess, any announcements?
Thank you, Commander. We're looking forward to the President's appearance at our special session this afternoon at 1:45. In regards to today's events, members are encouraged to be in line by 11 a.m. in the hotel lobby. To be clear, lines will not begin on this floor. The entire ballroom, including a portion of the front, will need to be cleared to accommodate security requirements following our business session. Seminars on the lower level will be held as scheduled. Those who planned on attending the seminars on the lower level, please know that those seminars will continue to be on schedule. There are special arrangements with hotel restaurants to provide efficient food options in the lobby, and our special session again will begin at 1:45 p.m. We encourage you to eat before getting in line if possible. Please be aware of any personal medical needs you may encounter. For the duration of this special session, you may bring in needed medication. All attendees will go through airport-like security. Members should bring as few personal items as possible. No bags, no sharp objects, umbrellas, liquids, or signs will be allowed in the venue. Cameras are permitted. Join us for a fun night this evening at 8 p.m. We'll be treated to the Lieutenant Dan Band. This year's concert is sponsored by our good friends at Tri-West, who generously donated to bring Gary and the team back to Atlanta to perform. Our regular business session will begin Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. We'll start off with committee reports, including the final report of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee. We'll hear reports on the Charitable Service Trust, the National Service Foundation, and an update on our memorial in Washington, D.C. On Wednesday afternoon, we'll hold our final business session and conclude with nominations and election of officers. And to be clear, when we recess here in just a minute, this ballroom, we need to clear out of here as soon as possible so we can prepare for today's events this afternoon. The nominating committee will be meeting at 3 p.m. today in the Kennesaw Room, Atlanta Conference Center, LL3. So if you're on the nominating committee, you'll meet today at 3 p.m. in the Kennesaw Room, Atlanta Conference Center, LL3. If anyone's found a lost USMC challenge coin with U.S. Embassy Santiago, Chile on the back, please return it to the headquarters office or to Tim Kelly, NEC District Number 4. We're giving away 5 $25 gift cards to delegates. You must be present to win. If I call your name, please come to the stage and see Doug Wells. Richard Pescator, Connecticut. James McNamee, number 5. James Scott, Arizona, chapter number 46. Chester Swift of Delaware, W.C. Phillips Memorial number 9. Joe Litzinger, North Dakota, Andy Nomlin, number 2, and John Hogan, Massachusetts, Silver Star JFK Memorial, number 3. That's all my announcements, Commander.
Thank you, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, Please rise. I will ask Chaplain Dover to lead us in a closing prayer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us pray. Heavenly Creator, by the light of your Spirit, you have taught the hearts of your faithful camaraderie and fellowship. In the same Spirit, help us to relish what is right and always rejoice in your consolation. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. The convention stands in recess until 1:45 this afternoon.